Talk radio. Oh my gosh, I don't care how much time I leave myself to get ready before the show. I'm always down to the wire. It's really kind of interesting to me because I never was planning on doing any kind of like radio or television or any kind of regular broadcast. And boy, it really is a test. And I'm not even quite sure what to say. Like, I don't know how the news and the television goes off seamlessly. I know they have an entire like crew of people helping them out, and that makes a big difference. But it's amazing to me all the stuff that can go off or wrong like a couple of minutes before you sign on. So like, for example, right now the landscapers are outside my window blowing leaves. So we might have a little bit of landscaping noise in the background. So today's topic is synergy. And I guess the reason why synergy came up for me this week was because I've had a couple things happen that have just been kind of like, wow, isn't that interesting? Like, so for example, we're talking to Jake Weeks next from Quantum Red, and what he does is red light therapy. And he's also a personal trainer, and he does that out of Glory Gaines Gym. And the week before, I had asked Michael Stemwald, who's a trainer who trains at Glory Gaines, to come on Relentless Talk Radio, and I didn't realize that they were both training out of the same gym. So I know that sounds like a small thing, but I had never even heard of Glory Gaines before I was referred to Jake Weeks, and then I have known Michael for 6 years. So to have something come on my radar that hadn't been on my radar in the same week has just really kind of got me thinking about synergy. And how many times in my life there's been two things. One, where I was really in synergy and I was amazed at how things were just flowing, and there were connections that were being made that were seamless, and just things were just, wow, like everything's synergistic. And other times how you're just completely not in synergy, where just you're beating your head against the wall to get something done. I just recently went through an experience like that with one of the groups that I belong to, where I just realized I was out of flow and out of synergy with that system. And that the more I tried to force it, the more wrong it felt to me. And I think it works in either way. Like sometimes synergy, being in it or being out of it, is a sign. So if you're a business owner and especially if you're a solopreneur, you're constantly like kind of looking for signs, there's athletes that, they'll only wear a certain pair of sneakers, or I ride motorcycles. I've had the same leather jacket for years, and I just refuse to replace it. It's completely beat up. I've been using that jacket for 35 years, but if I go on a long motorcycle ride, you better believe I'm wearing that jacket. So, I was just thinking about synergy and wondering, if you think about that too, if you find yourself either in synergy or out of synergy, and how that affects your business decisions or your life decisions. You ever all of a sudden start to meet different types of people, and they all know each other, or there's some kind of connection. And it's just been in my life when I've been kind of in the process of making changes that I'm really paying attention to where synergy is flowing. Just recently, we moved to a new neighborhood, as some of you may know, and in North Phoenix. And Doc and I have been meeting our neighbors, and one of the neighbors is there's some synergy there. Some things that he was doing prior to being here, and some of the directions he wants to go moving forward. And it just seems like I'm starting to hit a little pocket of synergistic connection. And I know when that starts to happen, it means I'm starting to get back into flow. So those of you who are creators or entrepreneurs, it's been so long since I've just been a purely 9-to-5 person. I can't even relate to that world anymore. I'm thinking back. The last time I had to actually punch in and punch out was when I first came to Arizona, and I was working for GoDaddy. And there's a couple things about working for GoDaddy. One, what a great company. And two, working at GoDaddy got me over the word no. when you're working in a call center, you're making 250 calls a day, or you're receiving 250 calls a day. You have no idea what's going to happen on any of those calls. And you just make them and then you move to the next one. And so if you're a salesperson, hearing no, you get maybe 20 sales a shift when you're at GoDaddy. So if you're a salesperson, hearing the word no that many times a day for a year, so what's 200 times, I don't know how many days you work a year, right? 200 times 250 no's. It really gets you over no. And it was at GoDaddy that I learned that no means next, right? So I think it was good for me to be kind of working for someone else at that point. And the other thing I learned when I was at GoDaddy is that I'm really bad with being tied to a desk. So like when you're working for a call center, you literally have a headset on and you're tied to your desk. You can't leave. I mean, you have like a 15-minute break. If you're in the ladies' room for too long, you're out of compliance, right? So I realized at GoDaddy that that was not the right environment for me, but I was really grateful for it because it gave me some time to kind of regroup. And, just this week I posted a 10-year photograph, and the photograph that I posted was, it was when I was just about making a decision to leave GoDaddy and I was getting back out into the public, and I was trying really hard to lead with my conservative side. And I look at the picture and I think, it wasn't a bad picture. I didn't look awful. But it just kind of, I could tell it was on my mind. I was really downsizing myself. And I remember when I was interviewing for to move up at GoDaddy, and I realized, there's no synergy here. This is not the right fit. So I threw myself back into the entrepreneurial world, and here we are, right? So synergy, I guess, is something that I really pay attention to. When I'm meeting all the right people at the right time. When I met my nutrition partner for Relentless Talk Radio, Trisha Wilkins, I knew I was in flow because I was just terminating a different nutrition partner relationship, and poof, there she was. And she and I have all the same goals and some of the similar stories behind our athleticism, and definitely very similar moral values and stuff. And it was like poof. So I guess the thing I want you to think about this week is synergy and getting back into flow. And when you start to notice that synergistic things are starting to happen for you, and how that can kind of catapult your business forward. And really, for me, it's I've read the book Think and Grow Rich a couple times. I don't know if you've read that book or not, even if it's a really older book, right? So if you're a millennial, you might have dismissed it. But, I am starting a new mastermind this month with 5 other women. So there'll be 6, you'll start to see some stuff about it. There'll be 6 powerhouse women getting together to create a mastermind. And even the way that mastermind is being created has been very synergistic. So I'm not going to tell you who I have. There's 3 of us in the gate so far, and we're shopping for the other 3. And I just know that those other 3 people are going to show up like poof. They're just the right people. They probably already are. Yeah, they're probably already in one of our lives. But we're picking those other 3 people this week. And I think that one of the things that I learned from reading that book is that there definitely is, for me, a power greater than myself that's leading my path. And what I do is really not about me. It's about aligning myself with that power. And when you are in synergy, it's because that power is 100% behind you and ready to move you forward. And I have been on hold for the past year and kind of getting myself centered and settled, and centered and settled. That's a really good way to put it. That's what's been happening. And so I'm starting to feel the synergy happen. So I guess my thought this week is, when are you in synergy or when are you out of synergy, and how do you feel like that affects your business? So I'm going to sign off here, and I'm going to go get Jenny Walter and Susan Rice, and we're going to have a conversation about fashion. Actually, first I'm going to do Jason Weeks, and then I'm going to do Jenny and Susan. So I will see you in just a bit. So tune on out for a couple minutes, and I'll be back with Jason Weeks. Thanks a lot, everybody.